It's December 20th, 2022. I'm in this. I'm listening. I normally I don't watch Dr. Phil or this show called TMZ. I find it very bizbetica. So again, it's today for some reason I walked in. Linda was watching the tail end of it. This Dr. Phil. I don't watch that Judge Judy. She's in New York, or at least she has the Excelsior and the United States flag. Um, so I don't watch that level of speak. I This morning I did, however, watch. Um, Lewis brought to me something. They mentioned a Drake. Never heard of that before, but I was very interested in a Tiffin way, um, or state of the art. I mean, again, an artwork dealer. Like, where did my artwork dealer go? Like, at Dad's office or Dad's like HR department. Like, it existed once. They sent a man and an adjudicator. I know that Dad's office knows I exist in like whatever. Um, so um, I'm watching this, and this American, he calls himself a doctor, Dr. Phil. He has a TV show. He says these things that came out in USA Today that um now again, I'm not buying the cow. I'm just saying it's what the American television doctor is saying, is that it's harmful to not have these social interactions and to not have this. And he even says that friendships tend to fall apart and just disappear. Great. So I wasn't the only one that got ghosted in life. But there are people through work or through other venue that have like visceral relationships and networks and social, if they interactions where they can. um I did not. And a lot of the local here that have access to union, have access to these socials, have access to these voices. And part of the reason why my voice hasn't been heard is because I was so hurt in the beginning with domestic violence issues, and then just retreated and tried to safely, between a dating app and like all this stuff I should have never had to been introduced to. But how do you hand raise? And then, like, where'd Dad's office go? Did it close? I mean, when I was a kid, they knew who I was, how to send letters and papers, collect essays. They had like a whole thing they were working on. And then it's like, I don't know if the office closed. Did the employees just get disgruntled with the management? I mean, so now it's not even like, I mean, here, I can't even find heraldry or heritage. So it's like, it's so frustrating. So now I'm listening to what's left and how they talk. So here, um, oh, and this afternoon somebody else mentioned Beeline, um, and Freebie. And I'm like, now that I've learned about this Maccabee thing, I was like, does that have any relation to Maccabee and the Syrian thing that they were mentioning with Hanukkah? But the 4 candled Hanukkah, not the, or 5 candled Hanukkah, not the 9 or 8 candled Hanukkah, because that gets confusing.
Talked a lot about the mental health of our children these last few days. And so before I go, I want to direct you to an article just published in USA Today titled Why can't we be friends? Lack of social contact harms American mental, physical health.
Right. So, that goes back to why am I being kept away, or why are the other children being kept away from me being able to enjoy, even though it's infinity, even though it's Trinity, importance, it's spiritual, and whatever. Why was I not on a guided, mentored path in that direction if that's what was needed? Where is my pathway to freedom, my pathway to success? Why was it misrouted or misguided by intelligence, community design, it would appear?
It's an important read written by none other than yours truly, and the brilliant Dr. John White from WebMD. Especially during the holiday season, it's so very important to connect with one another. And when I say connect, I mean not on social media. Clicks aren't connections. So put down your phones, look one another in the eye, and have a real conversation. You'll be amazed at how these real world connections can help. And we wrote this because there's so much research right now about the fact that when people grow up, friends just kind of fall out of their life. And that tends to lead to loneliness, which tends to lead to depression, which tends to lead to a shortened lifespan and advanced disease. So it's really important that we not live our lives virtually, that we connect with people in the real world and nurture those friendships. And Robin and I would like to wish everyone a happy, stress free holiday.
And that would be really nice and really great if something actually changes. Because right now they have me boxed into this third dimension where I exist. I'm making myself known, but there's been so many opportunities that were completely wasted on I don't know who. So that was Dr. Phil, S21E73. I don't know what channel he's on. Um, and then there was this mention on TMZ, which is S16E91 today. Um, they had a bunch of different words. Fixer, something like that, which one of the local men called me that. He came over with a witness. And we had a conversation in the back over the summer with Lewis. And so not quite sure what that was all about, but again, I know people talk. Now, for those that, I mean, like, there's some language on here that I've never heard before. But the visual reference is really like I mean, I've gone to one, a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah. I was invited, and we went for the special occasion. The ones that I went to, however, it was very formal. You were expected to have a new dress, to have your hair and like whatever, and it was usually, and at the time they had DJs that they hired who gave out like tchotchke gifts, like five and dime store gifts, like the blow up kind, like saxophone and like different instruments and things. And the kids had like a really great time together. This one, though, I'm noticing again in my time capsule, in my time frame, being in New York, even though it's the Kardashians, I'm noticing a different dress code than what I experienced. No judgment, no critic, no critique, just facts of the different decades and how things have changed.
Hey, Courtney. That's Courtney Kardashian leaving the party for son Mason Disick's bar mitzvah, where he officially became a man. And we're sure many of his friends also became men when they got a look at who else showed up.
I thought this is like you're turning into a man in this party. Like, aren't suits like requirements? Like your Sunday best, like top deck, like top shot. I don't like. I mean, again, I do like fashionable wear. I just don't have much access to it at my level of third dimension.
Hava Nagila, Shabbat Shalom, Hi Kavod.
Mason Disick had his bar mitzvah. This kid is automatically just like the coolest kid. He has to be because he had Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, Kim.
Scott and Rain were there, Bobby Chris, and Uncle Kanye wasn't there for many reasons. But it wasn't your normal rich people, BM.
As bar mitzvahs go, this is not off the hook.
Really?
There are parents in the west side of LA that spend $250,000.
It was a little low-key, as Kim's crop top would even make Yeshua sweat. But it looked like a blast. There was an ice cream truck and a Raising Cane.
Raising Cain. I'm like, now is that a Cain and Abel reference again? I have not been invited to after we left elementary and middle school and even high school, there was no conversation, like none, with kids from like whatever I grew up with. They went off and just disappeared into the world. I just went into my POV, third dimension, and it was like the rest of the world, or the world that I began in, just like it felt like died. Where did they all go? What was the significance of putting us all together if there was no real connections ever made? And what is this purpose of humanity? I mean, like, Dad's office, the adjudicator, the somebody specials that came to visit, on campus, off campus, depending on what year it was. I mean, setting up their kids in New York with some connections, some nice mitzvahs, some nice things they were doing. But yet it didn't, I mean, again, Trinity Infinity Kid in astrological importance, and talking about threading the needle. Like, I'm in an like, if I'm in an air fight, like, if pretend I'm like Tom Cruise in like the Maverick and like the Top Gun story in an airplane, and I have to thread a needle, and I won the birthday lotto, and then I have to thread this needle and get the special kid into humanity in the third dimension, same one that I'm existing in. The statistical averages of how rare it would be for me to duplicate my own birthday, and my birthday just happened to fall on the infinity symbol and on the Trinity symbol. Again, the most rare of rare events, but it happened. And the veil of religion in Christianity speaks of this. So there's this confusing event of how the importance is there, but the preparation of the correct formal relationship just never happened, or just never came to fruition the correct way. And then how the needle appears with the thread. I mean, he arrives. I'm here. We can only explain my relationship to him. That's it. Everything else is just behind the veil. So now, again, I know it's really important. I know it's very rare. And yet in this third dimension, with this superset skill that he and I have in astrological timing, biological feature, and the things that they don't talk about elsewhere or here. It goes completely unrecognized. And now there's supposed to be preparation from me to gift him the world that comes next in tradition. Not that we have any of it here, and not that anybody's ever spoken of it, but it's just this rolling issue now of the preparation wasn't done and gifted to me. It was withheld by generation that I arrived to. And now the passing forward is even more, do they call it in the red? I mean, it's not in the black. We're deficient. So it's redlining something. So this becomes a problem. It's like this compounding issue, but it's like high mathematics and like really smart people territory, which really I don't have access to on a day-to-day basis. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's like the Matrix in the third dimension in my time capsule section of the warehouse or the warehouse is broken. I keep waking up here. It's like the repair ticket was in. I delivered on this like super special ability, like having a kid, like on this super special date, no problem. Kid arrives and humanity's like, what do you want from us?